This is the board game with spin wheel part 4, and we're going to start by naturally opening that previous one, board game with spin wheel part 3. And the first thing I want to do is add some text for these dynamic statements here. So I'm selecting the player text layer, making sure all my layers are locked. I'm inserting a layer and calling it player Player info, info. Pick up your text tool, open the properties panel, make sure we have static text, and 13 points is good. And let's make a text box right here. I think I had static text for that. Yep, static text. And we want to say your turn. YOURTURN, your turn. Now I see that's white, so I want to highlight that, and I want to pick up some color. I want to go with black. Your turn. And I only want that to be on frame 2, so insert a keyframe on frame 2 and click on frame 1, right click, clear that frame. Don't remove it, clear it. So now I have that information here, and then click on this frame right here, right click, create, convert to keyframe. So now I have 2 keyframes. I don't want this information, your turn, on frame 3. So highlight it, pick up your selection tool, highlight it and delete it. Then pick up your text tool again, and in here move, MOVE, and this is going to say how many spaces, and here spaces, period. Now when you do this and run it, you're going to have to jockey these around because they don't line up too well. So your turn is here, and then it's going to say move so many spaces. I'm not going to play around with that, but you can just move these around to get them where you want. So let's give that a quick try, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Test movie test. Here it says player 1, your turn. You might want to drag that your turn up there. That's up to you. And stop it. Your turn will disappear, and there's these. So you can juggle these around, and once you have them in place, then you got what you want. Let's go to the action code 3, layer frame 3. Open that up, and right after this, where we make the stop button invisible, type in this code. Type. And it's an if statement, if, open bracket, which player, that's one of the variables we use to tell which player is actually got the next turn, equals 1, close bracket. There's the open curly bracket. There's the closed curly bracket. And it says player position 1, that's a variable, equals player position 1, that's the same variable, plus my global spin, semicolon. This is where the player is now, and this is what the spin wheel spins, so this is adding them for us. Copy that, paste it, change the 1 to a -1, and change this to position 2, and that allows us to know where the player is supposed to be. Let's go way down the bottom here where we have this next button, and what I want to do is copy it. Click here, go all the way up to here, right click, copy. Get on the end, put a couple enters, paste, and for now right here put a / and an asterisk, which is the upper case of the 8, and down here That just comments that out. Asterisk / again. And this button, we're going to make a new button. We're going to call it check, CHECK. Copy check. Paste it here so it's check move. Paste it here so it's check move. Make this check button, CHECK_BTN, false. Let's turn itself off. Should be blue. And instead of going to stop, instead of going back and stopping that spin, we're going to go to a different frame that's going to be called add, capital ADD. Let's go back to the main timeline and make sure all the layers are locked. Select the stop button layer, insert a layer, call it check button, CHECKBTN. Select frame 3, insert a blank keyframe. Unlock the next button layer for a minute. Select that frame that has the next button in it and double click on it. Now we're inside the next button symbol. Hold your control button down. Make sure you have these two highlighted. Right click, copy layers. Go back to scene 1. Come over to the library. Go down the very bottom corner, click, and that creates a new symbol. Make sure button is selected, and we called it check, CHECK_BTN. Okay. Click on that layer, paste layers. Now, there's nothing in this bottom layer, so right click, delete it. And there's my button layer and there's my text layer. Select that frame 1, double click on that, and call that check, CHECK. And in my case, I got to extend it, and my selection tool, and center that. Back to the scene 1. Lock that layer, that next layer, unlock the check button layer, select that first frame, draw this down, open the library panel up, and take that check button and put it up here. Open the property, see it's still highlighted, open the properties panel and give it an instance name, CHECK_BTN. Okay. I'm on the main timeline. Click from here, all down in one motion, down in one motion, down in one motion. Get that fuzzy square, right click, insert keyframes. So we bring all that information over. Here, right click, insert keyframe, and this is going to be that add one. So select that frame, open the properties panel, frame, add, ADD. Insert this frame 4 of the actions layer, right click, insert a keyframe. So we're going to have some action panels, some action script in there. Select the action panel. So let's do some typing. Type. Player 2, position _txt, period, text. Text will turn blue. Over here it's capital P for player, capital P for position, equals string, string, capital S, open bracket, player position 2. Player position 2. Close bracket, semicolon. That player position 2 is the spot that the player should be at the end of this particular turn, and this one here is a text box that's going to display that number so you know where the person's supposed to be. Copy that, paste it, change the 2 to a 1 there, and change the 2 to a 1 there. Don't worry about this trace. That was just something I was using to troubleshoot it. And now, again, let's write this. This says again underscore BTN, period, add event listener, open bracket, most event, period, click, comma, again spin, close bracket, semicolon. That's the same format we've been using through all these tutorials. Function, again spin, that's the same word here. Open bracket, event, colon, most event, close bracket, colon, void. There's the open curly bracket for this function. There's a closed curly bracket. And we're going to do two things here. The start button, start underscore btn, period, visible equals true. So the next player can click his button. Semicolon, go to and stop, small g, small t, capital A, capital S, turns blue, open bracket, spin, that's that frame 2, quotation mark, spin, close quotation, close bracket, semicolon. Now, this again button, we don't have to make it, we're just going to use the next button. So, I'm back on the main timeline. Under player info, this third frame here, that's this move spaces, right click, clear the frame. I don't need to see that there. Now up here in the actions panel, we wrote some code for a button called again. So let's just go back to the main timeline again, and that's going to be this next button. So I want to open the library, find that next button, double click on it, puts me inside of the button itself. I want to make sure the bottom layer is locked, and I want to make sure the text layer is unlocked. And here, instead of next, write again, A-G-A-I-N, and I have to expand and use my selection tool and center that with my arrow keys. Open the library where it says next here, right click, rename, and call it again, A-G-A-I-N. Go back to scene 1, unlock, come down here where we have this next layer, double click on it, call this again button, A-G-A-I-N, select frame 3 for a minute. Now, if this frame here is not a keyframe, right click and convert it to a keyframe or insert a keyframe, either one. But you want to make sure that when you go to this on the again button, unlocking all my layers, I'm unlocking the again button. Make sure if I click here and look up, I still see that again button. Then come back here, get on that frame, right click, clear the frame. Don't remove it, clear it. So now, and then click on this frame. The again button is highlighted. Open the properties panel. Oh, I gotta click on it. Its next button, we want to call it again, its instance name. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, all we're gonna do is come up with some text here to keep track of where the moves should be. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select this player's info layer. Insert 2 layers, 1, 2. Call this position, P-O-S, static, S-T as in static. Call this one position, P-O-S, dynamic. Insert keyframes in these 2 frame 4s. Insert keyframes. Select the static layer, frame 4. pick up your text tool, pick up some color other than white, and as high as you can, make sure it's static text, and type in here PLAY player 1 should be on step. Player 1 should be on step. We're going to tell it what step to be on. Copy that. Whoops. Get your selection tool, highlight it, get the crosshairs, right click, copy it, come down, right click, paste it in place, use your arrow keys and drag it way down the page. There, that's good. Highlight this one if you have to. There you go. So there's my two static text. Actually, I got this backwards here. I got capital PL. Yeah, PL. Something's crazy with that. Anyway, lock that. Select the frame here for the dynamic text. Pick up your text tool. Make a text box here. Put 2 zeros in it. 0, 0. Open the properties panel. Make sure dynamic text is selected. Come down here. 0, 0. Make sure dynamic text is selected. Yes. Click on the top selection tool. Click on the top one. Open the properties panel. Call this PLAYER player 1 position POS shift underscore TXT. Copy that. And click on this one, open the properties panel, and paste it in. Call this position player 2 position TXT. Now, I want to click on them again, that one there, and down here I want it to be centered. I believe that's what that does. Yep, click on this one, and I want this one to be centered, if yours aren't. So we gave them names. That's the names. If I look in here, we wrote code on them. Right there, player 2 position, player 1 position. So I think we should try it and see what happens. Control, test, movie, test. I expect errors. I expect things to go crazy. Okay, player 1, your turn. Stop. It's on 1. It says player 1, move 1 space. That's good. Check it. Player 1 should be on step 1. Player 2, this should be player 2. We can fix that. Should be on step 0. Again, player 2's turn. Stop it. Put it on 4. Check it out. 1 should be on 1. 2 should be on 4. Again. Stop it. Move player 1 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check it. Player 1 should be on 6 and 4. I think that's good. So we're going to come back to this one here and change this one. Now, if when you're doing those, you get a message that tells you that something is to do with the fonts or something, and down here it says dismiss all, click on that. And then what you want to do is open the properties panel and under embed here. And sometimes for some reason they're not embedding. That one is, that's good. Click on that one. For some reason they're not in, they should, but for some reason they weren't, and I don't know why. So back to this one here. So I got to unlock that static text one, and make this a 2. And I don't know why I can't write with a capital P. P-L. Why that keeps wanting to change on me, I haven't a clue. If you figure out that, let me know. Huh, isn't that weird? Anyway, I'll leave that for you to figure out. So I think that's what we need for now. Good luck. Hope it works for you. I think the person will want one more video. We're going to try to have it that when it lands on those special squares, that the player jumps to those squares, or to the direction given by those squares. It'll be called Board Game with Spin Wheel Part 5.